is... Oh, did you hit record?
Yeah, like
Well, no,
This is the cold open. Now we're gonna have some funny bits.
I was wondering why Zencaster was like going through health checks again.
always gotta stay healthy.
I mean, that's also true.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jodo Cast, your home for Star Wars gaming. We're here, and this week we're going to be talking about all of the announcements and goodies revealed at the Atomic Mass Games Studio update. But before we get into that, I dragged Evan along. I found him at Adepticon, and I brought him back to the show.
Who's this guy?
Hey-o!
He looks like he would be into Star Wars. Come join the podcast, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I've got glasses and a beard.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
I actually, that might be it.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Kurt's here.
I don't have glasses. Does that mean I'm kicked off?
It means you're on thin ice.
It means you're in denial. You're
First
40
You
plus.
watch your ass,
You're gonna
mister.
need glasses.
We got Kurt,
Hey.
and we got glassesless Leo
Oh.
in denial about his eyesight. Yeah, before we get started, just want to give a big shout out and thank you to our patrons who support us on patreon.com/thejodocast. Fun stuff happening there. Good way to show your support for the show if you like what we do. An extra special shout out to two very special patrons. John, who spent all of Adepticon with us, and Pigpog, who we met at Adepticon
Nice.
for the first time, and it was great. And we I'm going to segue that into a very trimmed down version of what you've been playing. We played Outer Rim with Pigpog,
Yes.
and it was
Sweet.
fun. Great
4
game.
player.
Yep.
With the
And-
I forgot how
engine.
long a 4-player game of that can take, actually. So
And
that was-
another celebrity.
Yes, we played with Elle Firespray
Oh, nice.
of painting fame, and it's always nice to bump into her at Adepticon.
What were the characters used, and what character won?
It was Enfys, Nest, Ketsu Onyo, Hera, and Dengar, and Enfys won
Nice.
on time
Well,
because
only
we had to call it
ran
early.
out of time.
Oh.
And I botched my last dice rolls. Otherwise, Ketsu Onyo would have owned Yo.
Yo.
But we got a lot to talk about today, so we're gonna breeze over what you've been playing. I am going to be assembling a video recap of all of our exploits at Adepticon, like I have done in previous years. We might have a separate episode of the podcast to talk about all that, but
I think we should do that too. I have so many thoughts on Milwaukee Adepticon.
Good thoughts? Bad thoughts?
A
Mixed
plethora,
thoughts?
a spectrum of thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So we'll say that for another time.
Yes.
Because tonight we are exclusively interested in discussing the Atomic Mass Games Studio update. So we're just going to walk through the whole thing. And
This was at Adepticon.
yes, it was.
Right.
And thankfully it was on a Friday night instead of a Sunday night. So because in previous years it was on Sunday night, they announced stuff, and then or Sunday afternoon, they announce it, and then everyone goes home because
It was more
convention
like
is over.
It was more like, okay, they're done. Run to the airport.
Right. So Friday was a lot better because then you have 2 days of the convention left to like be excited about these things, as well as they can immediately put them in their display case downstairs, the new things they have available.
Ooh, yeah.
So they started with Shatterpoint, so that's where we're going to start.
Oh, but really
And
quick, I wanna throw something out there really quick for listeners who might not have been engaged with us on Blue Sky yet. If they haven't made the move to there, like we've done in previous years, we live tweeted, but this time, I think for the first time, was Blue Sky. So you can find all of our pictures and everything on the Discord if you're there, but also going forward, if you want those live tweets, because I know people on the internet take our tweets and use our photos, it's on Blue Sky.
yeah, and if you want to watch a full replay of the entire thing, minus the Crisis Protocol stuff, because that's not our business,
Even though it's cool.
there was some great stuff there. Yeah, I put up a separate recordings for Shatterpoint and Legion announcements on our YouTube channel if you just want to watch the whole thing and feel like you were there yourself. So Shatterpoint is where they started, and it was basically they're showing off some of the new stuff they're going to be doing for organized play, which seems nice. Just a lot of foil cards, a couple like they made it very clear that if you show up, you get stuff. There will be a couple things for like skill-based performance, but most of it will be participation-based.
Yeah, like I gotta
Because
assume, like, so they. I mean, you can see there's at least if you watch the stream or the slide, they did show some foil. What are they called? Not order cards. Are they?
They are
order cards.
They are called order cards. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was thinking of Legion stuff. Um, you see, like the Kid Fisto one says top 4 on it. So I mean, obviously that's
Yeah,
gonna
that
be for someone who places in the top 4.
Kit Fisto stat card is also supposedly acrylic, according to the image, the slide, which it's interesting because that looks like, we've got old Legion and Imperial Assault and other promos that are acrylic cards, basically like a credit card, maybe thicker with spot gloss. So, like the character art is extra glossy and the rest of it isn't. That sounds really cool. I would love a huge Shatterpoint card like that. They mentioned that it was like the ones available at the prize wall, and the plastic cards available at the prize wall this year were not anything like that. They were just on some like floppy different material that almost felt, I don't know, it was weird. It was just like cards printed on like floppy plastic instead of like wibbly cardstock.
Hard plastic.
So,
yeah.
But I liked their what they're saying about organized plays. It's about play, Like obviously there'll be some stuff to reward like winners of tournaments and stuff, but if you show up and play, that's you get stuff.
It's organized play, not organized win.
Right.
Oh, I like that. You should be in marketing.
So yeah, they have this store league kit, and then a separate kit is like a store tournament kit, which you can use as a league or a tournament. And this one comes with looks like a separate Shatterpoint card that's got the same Ahsoka Maul in the middle, but a few different characters around the edges, all of which are from Rogue One except for Ki-Adi-Mundi. And then maybe somebody
I
on
thought
like
that was weird too.
On the 5 o'clock spot. That's just Krennic. It's Krennic's picture.
Yeah, he just gets more like real estate on the card than anybody else.
Yeah, we got Krennic, Cassian, Death Trooper, Jin, and Ki-Adi-Mundi with Ahsoka and Maul in the middle. But this kit has foil stat cards, the big postcard size cards, which is fun because usually all the foil cards are the order cards, and then some red dice, a red attack dice. So always happy to get more different dice, but we're going to keep scooting along unless anyone has anything exciting to say about organized play. This is fun. I'm going to try and get my store to get these, even though there's like 3 of us who play Shatterpoint at my store. I'm determined to like organize some kind of like monthly Shatterpoint meetup and maybe teach people to play because
The red Shatterpoint dice look too much like X-wing dice at a first
I was
glance to
thinking
me.
the
I think
same
I
thing.
will accidentally
Yeah.
mix them up at some point.
I agree. It's also weird that they are like, not to be all dice picky, but whenever there's like alternate non dice that don't come in this product you buy, there's always like some kind of metallic or marbling or like something. But these are just just straight up red, which is
Plain old.
different than what you get in the game. But it's
Yeah, I think the weirdest thing for me is the fact that the color, like the two different dice are differentiated by shape and color, like
Mm-hmm.
in the like on the cards in like your little charts on the back and stuff.
they're not differentiated by color in
Is it
any
just
way
shape?
in the game. Just shape.
The shape.
Okay.
Well, no, I know what he's talking about. He means on the far right of the stance cards where it's got the gray attack and the blue defense. But
Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Okay, yeah. See?
He's not hallucinating here.
Okay.
You are correct.
So,
But the color isn't
but it's
really...
it's a pretty minor thing.
The color really doesn't matter in Shatterpoint. Like in Legion, they have to be variations of those colors because there are different dice of the same shape. But
Or Imperial
So-
Assault or X-Wing, it was very important. Yeah.
deploy the garrison squad pack. They showed some pictures of the minis and the cards. We're going to breeze through these because these are all online. They've been revealed for a while. They're just kind of reminding people of what's coming up. The Krennic pack and the Cassian packs were actually in the VIP packages for the people who spend $1 million on their Adepticon tickets to get some free extra goodies. Krennic and or Cassian were in those.
And
So some people have those already.
Again, not going into detail, but the Krennic pack comes with a squad of short troopers, a squad of death troopers, and also a single death trooper and Krennic. So it's like a huge pack.
I think that's the biggest pack we've gotten so far because there are 6 minis in that pack. I think previously the most we'd had was 5. Maybe
That
if you want to
sounds
count Bad Batch, like count Omega as a separate one, but
Or like the
She's
Ewoks,
like a half.
sort of. Not
oh
really.
the Ewoks had 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe Ewoks had 6.
But these are
Yeah,
like
they showed the
adult humans.
Cassian. Then we get on to some more of the stuff that they really haven't shown off much of. They showed us This is Rogue One squad pack, which we've known is coming. I think this might be the first time we've seen painted minis of them. They were in the display case all week when we got there, but
I think
here's
you're
some
correct.
nice
I think
photos.
this past week was the first time we'd see them either in the flesh or painted up.
Yeah,
I don't know if we've even seen like digital renders of them before. Honestly,
they announced them last year or at a mini
Did we?
strav.
Okay.
Yeah.
There
In
were
any event.
unpainted
They
imagery.
just do not look familiar to me. That's okay.
So Jin is the primary, Bodhi is a secondary, and then Baze and Chirrut are a 5-cost supporting unit
That makes
that
sense.
have a dual stance card, so you can flip between Chirrut style moves and Baze style moves. And all of those minis look really good. I'm trying to remember if Bodhi ever actually holds a pistol in the movie. It doesn't matter because it would look weird if he was just sitting there with his like telecommunications gear and nothing else as a mini, but he's holding like a DC-17, and I'm trying to think if he ever had one in the movie. Another exciting thing, I'm excited about this, is a new terrain pack called Outer Rim Outpost Terrain. It comes with like a big stack of crates, like a tarp thrown over them, a round bunker with a flat top and a gun emplacement on the roof, and then a bogwing, I think is what it is.
But it lives in the desert.
Another little critter.
Well,
Yeah.
if you'll recall, when we fast forward to the release schedule, it's more than one terrain
Yeah,
pack.
they didn't make any mention of more than this one, but in the release schedule there are multiple. So we'll read those out when we get there because
Yeah.
they sound very interesting to me.
I'm really excited to see what the other ones are. I'm excited for this one, as more of a Legion player, just because this one will make for really good Legion terrain as well.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, better than some of like the the walkways and towers terrain.
Yeah, that's the
And
other thing that's
garages.
exciting about this is like a new theme of terrain. Previously, all of the terrain was like matching the stuff from the Shatterpoint core set. I don't know what you'd want to call it, but this is now like stepping into like a different visual design that is entirely different from that, and it looks like they're all called Outer Rim this, Outer Rim that, and I think that's good because I was worried that like every single piece of Shatterpoint terrain was going to just sort of have that same vibe. And yeah, this looks like it'll be really good for Legion as well. And they said as much. They've been using this in like Legion playtests.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they said that even with the original terrain, as they scaled it in such a way that it would work with either game. It's just, I don't know,
This
it
has a
just
lot more
never
character.
felt right for Legion. You know.
Yeah,
Yes.
this looks like it would vibe with Legion a lot more than the other stuff.
And I gotta say, I do like this bunker tower thing, despite just being like a beige, circular tower. There's just like, well, it's well painted for one thing, the weathering, but there's like a really nice kind of pockmarked texture to the stone that I assume is on the model, not just painted. And
Yeah,
looks
it looks like it's actually modeled on the thing, but
I there we took some pictures of it because it was in the display case. I don't know if it's easier or harder to see from those pictures, but so then they moved on to the Delta Squad pack.
I think I felt you vibrating like next to me while we were sitting
These
there.
minis look really cool, and I wish the Legion ones looked this good because Delta Squad and Legion are like just generic commandos, whereas these are sculpted properly. Notably, like the backpacks were absent in the Legion product. But yeah, they said they play really well with the Republic Commando unit that came with the Luminara pack. It's another reason why I don't paint my guys to look like other like a lot of people painted those guys to look like the people from the video game, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that because they're going to probably release those for real one day, and they did. So
did they say any even hints of info? Or are these like all secondaries? Because it's just 4 different guys. So how does
I can't I'd have to rewatch the video, but my assumption is Boss is primary, Sev is secondary, and Fixer and Scorch make up a support unit. That would be my guess. It's possible that there's like 2 of them are secondaries or 2 of them are supports, so you need to run 2 squads so you can have like you just need to find like some primary who doesn't fit the commando theme. Because they said you could
I guess.
fill up they've been putting out stuff to support players who want to like go oops all lightsabers, and then they're like, well, this is gonna go the other direction and help you go oops all clones if you want to. But those minis look very nice.
Yes,
the
they
artwork
do.
on Scorch is kind of weird because the perspective, he's like shoving his gun really far up and it's making a big blast. It looks a little silly to me, but
Because it does.
then we got another look at Riff Tamsin. I forget his name. I'm a fake fan. The Aqualish guy.
Squid Boy. That's his name.
Yeah.
You mean Quarren?
Sure.
Yes.
It's a Quarren.
You don't know his name or his species. Really
Well,
fake
I
fan.
wasn't mentioning his species. I was mentioning his vibes. He's aqua-ish. Underwater.
Yeah, I will say that sculpt really does stand out to me as a good one. It's got like nice details and kind of a cool costume. I have no idea who the character is, but yeah, it's an all.
He's just a
underwater
political
guy.
pawn. If
He's
you
a
recall the
schlub.
Water Wars episodes.
Yeah, those aqua droids look cool as hell, and they're big.
Yeah,
Nope.
The big
that's
bear.
what it.
Chunky.
Schick was saying that those droids have become like his favorite droids just because of how much time he spent with them for Legion and Shatterpoint, and just how big they are and cool looking on the table. He mentioned in the interview we did with him about Shatterpoint, and a little bit in the presentation here, that Riff Tamsin, they had some
Shark.
fun, designing him, because he's an underwater guy on a not underwater game, and so a lot of his moves happen to like apparently are tied to like gaining elevation, like coming up from below people, like a shark would, which is kind of fun.
It's called
He-
Terror from Below Squad Pack.
Yeah, I asked him if he functioned like Jeff in Marvel Rivals, and he said no.
Yeah. He's got a lot of the same the lizard energy from MCP, who's like leaping out of a sewer.
He reminds me of their Namor sculpt from MCP, where there's like water blasting out of the
Oh.
ground.
Yeah.
But all of those sculpts look really cool.
Yeah. These are great.
So then we get to stuff that was brand new announcements, and these were very surprising and
Yeah.
very exciting.
This
We've
one's
got-
my favorite thing for Shatterpoint that we saw.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Secure the Future Squad Pack. It got Balin Skull, Shin Hati, and then the HK droids. And those
awesome
HK
poses.
droids look really cool. The two not Sith characters are really cool.
Balin especially looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Art
they
looks
all
great,
just look.
too.
That's terrific.
They really captured his vibe.
Yeah, so it's fun to have more in that kind of New Republic era. I was expecting in both Shatterpoint and Legion, I'd be like, okay, are they gonna finally give us some like prequel stuff, or sequel stuff?
Oh, we'll talk about that here in a little
But
while.
maybe they're just inching up. They got to get through all this New Republic stuff first, and then they'll get to.
Yeah.
But no, these minis look really great.
Guys, they're waiting for the opportune moment. They're waiting for the Rey movie to come out in 20 years here. The rate they're going.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
So
And
the
I think
new
Joe-
thing. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just going to mention. I think we were in the middle of a game over the course of the weekend, and you said, "Is Rey the first actor to have two characters in Shatterpoint?"
Ray Stevenson, not Ray
Yeah.
Skywalker. Ray Stevenson
correct, correct.
Well, then I realized it was D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah, but that
Is-
almost doesn't count.
Are you saying that Rex and Cody are the same person?
You're talking about like a face, or who
I'm
else
talking.
is
I was
played?
just
I
like
have no idea.
Gar Saxon and Balin,
Yeah,
both played by
Balin,
Ray
yeah.
Stevenson, and I was like, is he? Because there's multiple instances of the same character in Shatterpoint, but are there multiple characters played by the same actor? And I think it's just those two, as well as any clone characters.
Right. I would not. In any event, yes, that was the whole point. Is that between Gar Saxon and Balin Skull, he's made quite the
I know.
impact.
Didn't realize it was the same guy. Interesting.
Time to go rewatch Rebels and
I just did.
Clone Wars.
There
You
you
didn't recognize him?
Not by his voice alone.
He was also fantastic in season 7 of Dexter, which I recently watched.
So next they revealed one that you could very easily pair up with this, which is the My Loyalty, My Life Squad Pack, which comes with Morgan Elsbeth. Somebody behind me called her Megan.
Close
as the
enough.
primary.
Megan.
And they said she has multiple sculpt options to show sort of different levels of her, how witchy she gets, because at the end there, her skin turns a little whiter and all this stuff happens. So you can, have her sort of look more human versus more Dathomirian. Enoch as a secondary, Enoch being the guy with like the gladiator stormtrooper helmet that serves Thrawn. And then these are very exciting to me. We've got the zombie stormtroopers as supports.
I
And those sculpts look really fun.
I honestly don't even remember seeing you post these on Discord. I think I was too wowed by the Balin Skull pack because I do not think I've seen these minis.
They look so like Enoch. What, he's just kind of standing there like, "What up? I'm Soldier Man." But those stormtrooper zombies look so
A lot of
fun.
detail. They've got the like
Yeah.
ribbons, the bondage stuff they're tied up with, and the cracks in the helmet and stuff, and pretty creative poses. So
Yeah, they
And
said they had a lot of fun trying to figure out those poses where
it
they didn't look like they were just like drunk and falling over. But
it does
Uh-huh.
look like
it's
two copies of the same poses, so it's not
oh yeah.
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 unlike some of the
So
other.
so you said that Morgan's got a few different options. So did they say so she can have like different weapons? Like instead of here in the slide, she's got like her sword that's glowing with like their witchy green energy flames. But like, or are you gonna also have the option to have her with like the spear or whatever that
um
she uses?
I don't
unclear.
believe
My
that was
assumption was that
specified.
she might just have two separate head options. So
Okay.
if you see in the
Yeah.
artwork there, she's got those kind of like patterns on her face. That might be
Mm.
like sculpted in to her face or something.
Hmm.
I think
So that
there were actually two things. I think you and I were both surprised because in the course of the reveal after the previous uh, reveal of Secure the Future, I think we both felt like they were almost 100% going to be like, here's adult Ahsoka with
right.
adult Sabine.
Yeah, I was like, okay, here comes yet another Ahsoka I have to paint, but they didn't. That was the last. Those are
Yeah,
the only two
yeah.
Shatterpoint announcements, which is fine because I have enough Shatterpoint to catch up on. And then they just mentioned that they're in May of this year. They're going to be doing a rebalance of a lot of characters, not all of them, but a number that they think need adjustment. Now that they've been at the game for coming up on 2 years, they have uh, better idea of how people should be balanced and stuff. So they're going to be doing,
Mm.
just tweaks to certain stats and abilities on characters in May,
Did
which
Picture
is
has
I
Ahsoka, Anakin, Mace, and Reva.
yeah. They specifically mentioned Mace right now is I think 6 squad points. They're going to move him up to 7, which is going to make him a lot more playable.
so are they talking like just a points rebalance, or are they talking like
Some
possible like
abilities are going to be
errata to
changed. Yeah,
cards?
that as well. They said specifically for Mace, he has an ability that says like when you activate him
Mm.
with a Shatterpoint card, do this. And I think they said they're changing it to just be like whenever you play a Shatterpoint card, doesn't even have to be him. Like he gets a thing.
Any
Um,
mention of like if there is errata, is it just going to be like a PDF with errata, or is there like a card pack, update card pack in the
I
future, or anything like that?
don't remember what they said. My assumption is it's going to be in between. It'll be like I would assume they're going to, if it's extensive enough, they will probably just put out print and play um, cards, and so not just like a PDF which just says like, hey, on this card, this number should be this number, and probably not like new products, but
So
that's my guess.
a
I
couple of
don't know
years
for sure.
ago, like in 2023, I want to say they released a whole update card pack for MCP, and that included a whole bunch of stat cards. In subsequent years, they have made all of the cards available for print and play rather than releasing them as a card pack because I'm sure there was a lot of profit loss in printing all of that versus just saying, here, print it if you want, or just have it on your phone. So, like, I will be getting them from Etsy because there are lots of printers on Etsy that will do that for you. And I can't remember what else I was going to say, but I think it's most likely that we won't see a a a purchasable pack from your local store.
Yeah,
And yeah, the other
makes
thing I was going to say
sense
was that
if they don't do it for Shatter, or if they don't do it for MCP, then yeah, I wouldn't see them doing it for Shatterpoint.
It
and
would be nice
and
though, like if you could order it as a print and play type or an on-demand order. Like
yes,
I hate printing stuff and then having this dumb flimsy junk that doesn't match, or like having to go to it, like you said, to an Etsy. It's like it's not
yeah,
ideal. I get why they do it though.
yeah, 100%.
So
And sorry, I was going to jump in and answer the other question about whether it's going to be like changes to abilities or points changes. Just based on precedent, it's usually, I mean, I guess they've already mentioned Mace being a points change, but generally it's going to be changes to abilities to make them um, just equivalent to what newer units are able to do. Because there are certain units that do abilities similar to Wave 1 characters, but the Wave 1 characters are just slightly weaker. So it's going to be just modernizing uh, older abilities, I think.
yep, and then so to wrap up Shatterpoint, we see the roadmap, and the things I want to note here is those two: Secure the Future, My Loyalty, My Life. Those come out Q2 of 2026, and then we see listed a bunch of other terrain packs. So they showed us the Outer Rim Outpost. They mentioned that they never even said out loud these other ones, but we've got Outer Rim Market terrain pack. Sounds fun.
Yeah, I hope there's like
Just
a
because,
Jogan fruit stall.
right? Because they pack a lot of little Easter eggs into these terrain packs. And every single terrain pack they've released so far has like a little critter in it. If you count the Gong droid as a critter. Um, Outer Rim Droid Trader terrain pack. That's the one I'm most excited about because it might fit in well with my little droid town I've been building.
Seems like
And
it
then,
might have to be some kind of like Jawa setup or something like that.
yeah,
Or maybe it's the droid shop from Galaxy's Edge.
I wonder how big
Unlikely.
a Shatterpoint scale sandcrawler would be. It's got a nice flat top, which is perfect for the game.
It'd be pretty huge, I think. Like could be like table sized.
You
Yeah,
could build just like the front half of it, or the like split it down the middle, and then have that be part of the board edge.
Or just the whole
And
board and you just play on top only and you're like reaching
Yeah.
up the whole time.
And then you can do ring outs.
Like
and
a
then
robot
we've got the
to like knock people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then everybody on the ground level, after each activation, you move them a little bit to the rear because the thing is slowly moving forward.
Or they get run over if you
no,
knock them
you
off.
got to make your way up the side of the sandcrawler, jumping from platform to platform, just like in Super Star
Uh,
Wars. And then if you fuck up your jump and fall down, and then you swear a lot, you got to recreate that experience.
well, that unrelated, I would tell you whenever it comes up, go watch the Legion interview I did with Schick and Pagani because I think they mentioned the Super Empire Strikes Back as something they were thinking about when designing Luke on a Tauntaun as a playable character for
Nice.
Legion. Um, and then the Outer Rim Dwelling is the last one. So there are 4 Outer Rim themed terrain packs coming out in Q3 of 2025, which is a lot. That's a lot of new terrain with a new style, which is
Yep.
cool.
Not that far
The,
away. I mean,
the
that's
numbering on the SKUs for those packs is interesting, though. How the Outer
Yeah,
Rim
we've got
Outpost is it's SWP 60, but then the other 3 packs jump up to 101, 102, and 103.
Yeah, so they must have like started that one and then like
40
shelved it
terrain
and then did a
packs in
bunch of
between.
well,
course,
Delta
60
Squad is
is
62 and
62.
63 is Terror from Below.
What the
And
heck?
and
What
then
is
the
with this
Secure the Future.
numbering?
Yeah, we gotta. I mean, the numbering is kind of an interesting way to like figure out the order they were developed in, because usually that might just mean like when like something really low numbered doesn't come out until a long time later. It's like, oh, that they had that like in production a long time ago, and it just took this long to come out. So that's Shatterpoint. Let's move into Legion because there's a lot more Legion stuff.
Oh my goodness, yes there is.
Okay. Again, they are kind of revamping and re-energizing their organized play kits with this tournament kit that's got some Aqua Droids, ARF Troopers, Sleeper Cell, Riot Control, promo cards. And then this is where it gets interesting and much different from their other things. They're going to have weekly organized play kits. This really cool black and white and gold art, brand new art from some fancy artist.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just the slide or the gold looks like it's supposed to be foiled, actually.
It is. They said
They
that.
did say that? Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
not sure if everyone
that's
is or if
amazing.
it's like a rarity that some of them will have gold foiling, but for sure.
Oh,
gold
that's right. I
on these
forgot
cards
about
exists
that rarity is going to be a thing.
Because these weekly play kits, they saw what Unlimited have been doing with their weekly play participation promos, and they said, let's try that. And so for Legion weekly play, you show up and you're going to get a little booster pack that has 3 of these promo cards in them that are randomized with various rarities, and that's really weird. I get it. The here's the pros I find. Just getting something every time you show up is huge. That doesn't currently exist for Legion. Right now, the Legion play kits, there'll be like 2 organized play events tend to have like a participation card and maybe like a top 16 card or something. But now having a thing that you get every single time you come is huge. The chase, like the randomness of the chase, means you're going to be encouraged to keep coming back. And they're going to have way more promo cards like per season or per quarter or whatever than like before. You'd have like 2 alt cards for a whole kit last you like 4 months, and now there's gonna be like, I don't know, 20 or something, however many different designs are in these packs. So like that seems cool. It seems very weird to have randomized boosters for
sure
this game.
Yeah,
but
it is,
it's free. It's just free for showing up.
That's what's important, is that you're not spending money on blind boosters. You are getting a blind booster for showing up.
They said you can get 2 per week. That's the other thing we mentioned on the Discord. Yeah. They're using that sort of same punch card that Fantasy Flight was using that nobody ever used.
Yeah, I can't imagine a lot of stores are actually going to do that. And like the whole like 2 per week or whatever.
Yeah.
That's probably, I mean, that's all I'm sure just going to end up being dependent on how your store decides to run their OP or their league or, whatever they do. If they just have, like I said, if they do a league or if they just do like, like a Legion night, or if they might just, if you're in the store playing Legion, they'll hand it out to you. Who knows what your store is going to decide on.
But those cards that come in there, we see a Sabine, a Darth Vader, a Maul, and a Maul command card. So there's going to be like a mix of units and command cards and stuff. That just, the black, white, and gold looks really.
It looks so cool.
The graphic design is amazing on these.
I mean, honestly, like you said, I assume that these are going to be like the rare cards in the pack. But
yeah, they
100% look like like something you would get for a high placement in a tournament kit, or you would be wanting to save your tickets up for to get off the prize wall at an event, at a big
Yes,
True.
event.
100%.
Yeah, these look
Um,
like the fanciest like Legion promo cards I've ever seen, and they'll be,
They
you
look like
know,
Carbonite Legion
I
cards.
was gonna say I want Fantasy Flight to take a couple notes. Well, I should say no, not that I'm not okay. I'm not dissing what Fantasy Flight has done. I'm just saying these are really fucking cool, and I would love to see the same thing in Unlimited, in addition to what we've already got.
Okay. So you want more.
I always want more.
All right,
yeah.
that's fair.
I think my take is it's very weird and surprising, but it sounds like a positive thing, and I think people will like it.
Yeah, we'll see
It,
Yes.
how it goes. You know,
yeah, they said like, oh, if people like it, we'll keep doing it. If they don't, like, we'll see, change things. But like, just the quantity of promo cards that'll be out there compared to in the past is, I think, going to be a huge deal.
As
So
someone speaking as someone who tried to run Legion Night at my favorite store, anything that can get people to show up is fantastic.
right, and like the unlimited ones on the little check card, you don't, you know, you can get a pack that says play a game, paint a new unit, teach someone new to play. So like you could, show up and be like, look at this new thing I painted, and like if your store is cool enough, that should be enough to get a thing. Like they just engage with the game.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I know that's what the card says. To be honest, I don't know. Well, maybe if you're in the store painting, because I know people show up for paint nights and paint in stores too. I could see that. I don't see many stores. Just you just show up and you're like, look, I painted a Legion thing. Give me my cards.
I'm
yeah.
But they
I'm
might.
going
Who knows?
I'm going to jump in really quick. Like I haven't already been jumping in really quick.
I'm
But
injecting more drama in with the.
Yeah.
uh, at Games Workshop / Warhammer stores, they have something very much like this,
Oh
where it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
hobby bingo, and when you fill out your card, you get something for your trouble, and they make a point of saying like, you don't gotta like prove to us that you painted this week or anything like that. It's just like, yeah, cool. Here's your thing. Fill out your card. Great. So I gotta think it's gonna be much the same way of just like, we believe you. Thanks for participating. Here's your trophy.
Yeah, but the thing is that, okay, that's at GW stores though, right?
Correct.
Which yeah, so there's like a whole corporate line that those stores got to follow.
Right.
These are all independent stores across the entire world.
Mm-hmm.
So I I'm just saying I would say there's going to be some stores that will follow this, but I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
So then they go into showing off some of the, because as they've talked about lots in the past, all of the old Legion units that were in soft plastic, they're redoing in hard plastic with whole new sculpts. And also because of the new rules that allow you to have much larger unit sizes, that's one of the reasons you might want to get a new box is, they come with a lot more little guys in a box because of that. So they showed the stormtroopers, the scout troopers. There's pictures of these. You can find them on the Asmodee store.
Yeah, and we've seen
Um,
at the very least we've seen like at least renders of like the stormtroopers at mini
and the rebel
extravaganza.
troopers.
Yep.
I think the rebel commandos here are new. It looks like, so what we were talking about on Discord is that the Twi'leks in the rebel troopers and now the rebel commandos looked a little off, and I'm 90% sure it's because their Leku are like flapping in the wind to
Yes.
accommodate the fact that you can, I'm going to assume, put any head on any body, because that's how the Rebel Sleeper Cell was.
They did say that in at mini extravaganza. That's what they said. That's how it's going to work.
I love the art on that Rebel Commandos. It looks like
Mhm.
they're in like, Norway
Yeah.
or something.
The like trench coats and stuff on all the commandos looks great.
Yeah.
One thing I
Um,
want to point out too about the poses, it's very clear. I would say on the scout troopers, but like these are new poses too. They're not just like a new boxing of the
Mhm.
old
yeah,
squads. The stormtroopers look pretty close, but these are like whole new minis, not just the old ones.
yeah, they redid these guys from the ground up. Um, so just continuing the re-release, in the new packaging, we've got the B2 Super Battle Droids, which people were excited about because they've been hard to find. So now you can get that with, the way more minis in them. We've got
Outer
so
Rim Outlaws.
this is gonna be a sort of a new way things are coming. So we've got Clone Commander Cody. He's coming with Waxer and Boil like before. Um, then we've got the Outer Rim Outlaws, and so Boba and Mando are coming in the same pack. Those sculpts are the same. Those are 100% the ones we got
Yeah,
before, but
because
that's also
they've already
right.
been
Those weren't
released. They're already in hard plastic.
right. But this is the new packaging, so they'll have the new updated cards. But this moving forward, as we're going to see, the kind of the single characters are going to be released in these like character packs rather than as individuals. um, I asked them about that new trend in my interview with them, and they had a very long, good, makey, sensey answer. So I would just encourage everyone to go watch that afterwards if you're curious why they're not releasing these guys as like single characters anymore. To super summarize, it's cheaper for
Hmm.
everybody. You, the consumer,
which
and them, the manufacturer.
which is definitely well, as far as cost savings, definitely a theme
Yeah.
going forward.
The
Well,
other good thing
Storks
to
like
note,
it too because they don't have to devote so much shelf space to so many different SKUs.
That's
right?
true.
They said it reduces SKU bloat, and it also means because this is the best way to do it. Well, if they want to make one new character, they're going to have to make 2 or 3 new characters, which means you're going to get more new characters more frequently as well. But like I said, go check out that interview I did with Pagani and Chick. Hope if it's not up by the time you're watching this, it will be very soon. I have a lot of Adepticon videos to catch up on. So the IG droids are coming back. The speeder bus, the AA5 speeder bus is coming back.
Did they say anything about the AA5? Is it the exact same kit, or would there be any differences? Because it'd be
Pretty
interesting if it
sure
came
it's
with like some mercenary parts or something like
Yeah,
that.
Um, they didn't mention anything like that. I'm
pretty sure it's
assuming
all the
it's probably
same.
the same.
Yeah.
I feel like only the stuff that was
Well, the
in
box
soft
only shows the
plastic.
rebel symbol too. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Even though they have the mercenary art next to it. But anyways,
Might be a misprint. I feel like they specifically mentioned it for mercenaries. So then we've got to look at a new unit, the Padawan Ahsoka and Commander Ahsoka, and this is also introducing a new sort of mechanic. So this comes with 2 different Ahsokas. One is the commander slot, and the other one is not an operative. What we all assumed we'd get a commander Ahsoka and an operative Ahsoka. The one that's not a commander is actually an upgrade you put into a core unit. So she can become the leader of like a squad of clone troopers. And they mentioned that this is one of the ways they just figured out to help you get more characters on the table because people like seeing their favorite Star Wars characters, but the nature of the order system in Legion means well you're going to have a couple commanders and a couple operatives and then that's it. And so if you're going to now they're going to start putting these characters in addition to commanders and operatives, give them these just upgrades that, are going to be comparatively pretty low powered compared to those other versions. But now you'll have, your little Jedi leading your squad of clones or whatever, which I think is pretty neat.
Yeah,
Seems
Makes a
obvious
lot of
that
sense
it's a
for
great way to
Jedi,
do it.
especially.
And actually, going back a few years, that was something you could do with Rune Wars characters. They could be solo, or they could just be integrated into the units. So it's cool to see that being carried forward.
Yeah. And Ahsoka has associate Anakin Skywalker, so if you have Anakin, she doesn't count against your like commander count. So you could have Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka commanders all in the field together. Probably a lot of points, probably
Yeah.
not worth it, but now you got 1,000 points to work with, so could be fun.
Ooh, 1,000.
Get a look at some of her command cards. We're not gonna dig into these in detail here.
I just want us to move on to the next bit because that's the best bit.
So not the command cards.
The only thing I want to say
sorry,
about
go
the
ahead.
command cards is if you do go and read the text for her 1-pip especially, it says this round about 500 times in that paragraph.
Oh, that's another. So again, shout out to my interview with them when I asked them about sort of the overhaul of the rules and the design. That's one of the things that they just have started putting in because it's a little
It's one thing that-
redundant. It's
never clear to like a lot of people.
right, especially a lot of new players are always asking, how long does this effect last? Like technically by the rules, a command card's effect lasts the round or whatever, but they've just started adding that to make it extra clear and reduce confusion for especially new players, which I think is good.
I do think this particular one they could have done it a different way. But that's fine.
Take a drink every time it says this round.
Yeah. Anyways.
So yeah, this is coming up next. Probably the coolest thing that they announced.
Yes, it is.
So we're looking at a picture of a guy like a Zabrak in some armor holding a minigun and a Imperial officer shooting a pistol holding like a energy baton in front of a big, battlefront style battle. And these are custom character packs. They're called customizable commanders and operatives. The first two we're seeing here. Interestingly, the Imperial one, the box is way bigger, and I don't know why. And they didn't say why. Makes me think there's like an ATST in there or something. But
it could just be that many more sprues of options.
You'd think if one was going to have more options, it'd be the Rebel one because they are less uniform. But so what this is a package that is going to be full of various bits that you can mix and match to create two minis, to make entirely your own unique Star Wars character that you can then play with in your game, which is incredible, I think.
This is the thing that I have wanted for this game since 2018. Since the day it launched, I said, everything's great, but give me customizable leaders.
And lots of people have come up with homebrew rules to do exactly this for like custom campaign systems and stuff. So
yeah, I've played in a league where we tried that and it was cool, but just having the model kit, like, so we see these the Rebel and Empire, we've got like Imperial officer looking type guy, ISB type person, Rebels, different heads, different, the one is like a minigun bruiser and the other guy looks like maybe more of a gunslinger operative. And then we've also, so the next slide comes up is this insane artwork of some clones getting annihilated by a super tactical droid, but from the waist down it has what look like droideka tri-legs, and it's got like a minigun for a left hand, and it's got two little like
Flamethrower or something.
Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. Also,
yeah, like from like
besides its normal arms.
Oh,
the
yeah, I
ID
didn't even see
Seeker
those.
arms coming out the middle.
Little T-Rex arms, yeah.
And that's just incredible. And I guess that's, just sort of like in rendering of like, oh, you could make this kind of guy, because we've also got customizable super tactical pack.
I didn't notice before, but the one clone on the right is like shitting his pants so hard he's dropping his blaster.
What a wuss.
I don't know. That's the scariest looking guy I've seen in a while. So we've got the super tactical customized box, and then, of course, we have a customizable Jedi, General, and Knight box. So you're going to be able to make your own Jedi. We see it like a Rhodian dual wielding, and then a human who's sort of in like the Obi-Wan style Clone Wars armor.
So you got one in robes and one in robed armor. Or armored robes.
I don't play Republic. I'm going to build my own Jedi.
Yeah.
And it bears stating, before we get any further and get on to the rest of the cool stuff, that there are rules to reflect your modeling choices in the game. And they're called doctrines, and it sounds super cool. So however you want to make it, it's not just gonna be my cool guy, it's gonna be my cool guy who does cool stuff reflective of his coolness.
Right. You give him a big minigun, you're gonna be able to give your unit like the big minigun type attack. Guess what? I talked to them about this in my interview, and they went into more detail about how that sort of lays out, and particularly how they compare to existing commanders. So that's cool. Go listen to that interview.
Yeah.
So does that mean we now have WYSIWYG stuck in our game?
That's what it sounds like. I'm gonna
exactly.
I would guess that you could still just. It's not like you have to like weld your custom cards together when you create it. I feel like you could still just. I'm gonna have a custom mini, and then I'm gonna mix and match my upgrade cards.
Yeah,
and I don't think anyone will care if it's WYSIWYG.
Yeah,
it's what you see is what you kind of, sort of, not really get, but that doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Because I mean, what if I model it with the minigun, but then like later on, like the meta is like, minigun blows. Never put this on your custom commander or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like
it will be the same thing as a lot of existing characters, right? Like, oh, no one takes Darksaber on Sabine or whatever, even though.
But most people still have her modeled with it.
Yeah.
Those tactical droids look pretty cool too. The one's got the electro staff, and the other guy looks like he's way more bulky than your standard super tactical droid. He's got like bigger shoulders.
Yeah, he's got the big shoulders, like the guy in that where he's fucking up the clones in that one piece of artwork you were just talking about a little bit ago.
Yeah, the Droideka legs are not on the box art.
Doesn't mean they ain't in the box.
Yeah, I would assume they will have it. Like, I'm surprised that that's not the bigger box like the Imperial one was.
Yeah, why is that Imperial box so big?
Yeah, I want to know what's in there. What's in the box?
I forgot.
Two big things
that's why you shouldn't leave me on the sidelines.
We kind of just like need to see, right? Like, I'm really curious about the specifics of the rules, and I'm really curious about the specifics of these kits. I think honestly the actual model kits is maybe the cooler part for me, because honestly most recent Legion products have not been very customizable at all. It's like been like very hard set poses and stuff. A lot of them don't have any customization. So the fact that it's entirely about customization is kind of a 180 in a really neat way. That's like a very hobby centric type of product that I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So next up, they showed off some they're called new essentials. Basically, these are kind of complementing this is basically the print version of all the stuff that they've had in print and play. You can get new range rulers and stuff. That's obvious. Just kind of a new essentials kit. Does come with the half range. The battle deck card pack is a big pack that comes with the dashboard. It comes with all the battle cards, and it comes with all the new tokens, like the POI tokens and things. And these are all things that you can and people already have print and played, and you don't have to go buy the new stuff. The print and play stuff is still 100% acceptable. The more
I think
interesting
the
thing
one's
here
gonna be really nice.
is I would rather just buy it and have the nice official stuff.
If you haven't already got them printed from Etsy,
Right.
Yes.
The
but still.
upgrade card pack. So they said I think they were going to be like once a year or maybe twice a year, these universal upgrade card packs, and that you can get this pack. This will have all of those upgrades that you need that can go on anybody. And moving forward, the new units that come out won't have, the only upgrades they'll have in them are the ones that are unique to them. So if you buy Ahsoka, she's going to have an upgrade card that only applies to Ahsoka.
Mm.
And
But
so that way, if
I won't be
it's sort
looking
of
through
like,
my box going all like, okay, so I've bought Rebel Troopers and I bought Stormtroopers and I bought this and that, and now I have 5,000 frag grenade cards.
Yep.
right. Or you go, I really want just the frag grenade card. I don't want the, or I want frag grenade plus or whatever. Oh, and that only comes in like 2 boxes of things I don't want to play. Now people might be going to buy things they don't want just to get this one upgrade, kind of like how X-Wing was back in the day.
You're like,
And so
I
this
want
is,
Emperor Palpatine, so I gotta buy the big old ship.
yeah, so they I feel like they said like this is going to be like a once a year type thing, and it's not. He said something about like they, maybe something along the lines of like they're not making much profit on these, but they're like it makes the game better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
like the box with like the range rulers and stuff. Comes with a set of generic order tokens that looks
Mhm.
pretty cool.
yeah.
And from the picture on the box, it looks like are the range rulers made out of and movement templates made out of some kind of different plastic or something? They look like shiny in
Yeah,
the picture to me.
it could be that they were just like the whatever they photographed is like painted or like they put a wash on it, and that's not what
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like in
because I
real
mean,
life.
I
because
think
that's the
that's
thing
all
is
that it is.
like a lot of people paint their, they give them like just like a gray paint job and then a dry brush to kind of give them like a carbonite sort of look or something, and that's what this looks like. So that's why I was wondering, I'm like, did they? But that seems sort of weird to paint them up for the box picture.
Yeah, they do
Eh,
that
I
for
don't
the
know.
minis.
Yeah, but that's different. Like it's sort of like the minis are expected to that eventually you're going to paint them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
I guess
it's
if
glamour
I
shots.
saw this, if I saw this picture, that's what I would think I'm getting in the box.
Yeah.
I don't think that about the minis.
Right.
Um,
Some people
but
do.
I don't know. I'd be curious to though if it is like, and maybe it's just printed on more of like a silvery, out of like a more of a silvery plastic instead of just flat gray. I don't know.
Yeah.
It should also be noted that it was in this part of the presentation where they really drilled home the fact that they don't want you to buy a model kit in order to get a piece of cardboard, because as you know they very specifically said we're we make great miniatures, great models. It's not about making cards. That's not what we're here to do. So making sure that everyone has equal access to all of the cards that they'll need, and then you can buy miniatures, without having to worry about what cardboard you're getting, is an absolutely fantastic, wonderful way to do it, and reducing the number of cards that you need to fuss with Legion is, in my opinion, phenomenal, because they are not just reducing the cards that you chase in kits, but they're reducing the number of cards that you need for your army, period.
I will say one little thing I am a little disappointed by, and I get why they did it this way, but the half range ruler comes with the rulers and movement templates box that I don't want. And that's the thing that's the worst thing to use the print and play version of. So it's like, I want the real half ruler, but I don't want to buy this just for that when I already have 80 million rulers. So
Uh-huh.
I know why they did it that way, but it's like, man, I wish I want the half ruler and I don't want
Yeah,
that.
I
So
mean, just like I think the economics of producing just a half ruler pack isn't there.
or it could have been in the battle deck card pack or so. I don't know. I know why they did it that way, but it is disappointing for me because it's like I want the half ruler and there's
Yeah.
no way to get it.
I got it by playing, and then a guy just gave me a 3D printed one he had because I didn't
That
have
would be
one.
nice.
So then they played basically a trailer, sort of about, a trailer for Legion, Fight Across the Galaxy, and it's just showing all the new sculpts, the new Vader and Luke sculpts are really cool. I love the Luke in his yellow jacket. And I'm looking at this now, and I'm noticing that most of the terrain in this trailer is Shatterpoint terrain, and so I'm like, oh, how much of this is the new terrain that we were just seeing on the roadmap? Like, is some of this like unannounced, unseen
Those are
stuff?
definitely
This
Shatterpoint
moisture
boxes.
evaporator. That's
Yeah.
not a Legion moisture evaporator.
Um,
Yeah, there's some interesting weird buildings and stuff.
yeah, like the scout troopers are standing on. Like some of it might be custom. They've used custom stuff before. So yeah, just getting a look at all of the kind of the main starter set contents, because this is a trailer for the faction starters, because now there's just 4 starters, 1 per faction, which is cool and good. Because back when the game came out, you'd buy a starter, and people like me, I'd be like, I don't want all the Empire stuff, but I have to buy this, and I'm gonna have stuff I don't want. The art on all of those starters is so nice.
Something that I'm really loving, if we're into a starter set talk now, is that they did mention that all these starters are roughly the equivalent points or power levels. But if you look at the pictures, you'll see that they don't have unit parity amongst them. So it's not the same as like the core sets that we had where it was both armies get 1 hero and 2 sets of core units and then 1 vehicle type unit. They're different types of units between the different sets, but they're all relatively the same power level.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's a good point that there's some more variety. Like with the rebels, you get Luke, 22 rebel troopers, a set of rebel commandos, and then some Wookiee warriors. Whereas like
Scorpion starter.
yeah, whereas like the Imperial one, you get Vader, you get 22 stormtroopers. That's the same, but instead of only getting 7 scout troopers, like you get 7 rebel commandos, you get 14 scout troopers. So basically, you get double the scout troopers, but then you don't get that 4th like unit type like the
Yeah.
rebels box has.
yeah, and then they said
Oh,
these retail for what, $89.99 or 95.
95, I believe. Yes.
Yeah,
Which
and
that's wild.
That yeah, that's although I mean, I guess it is a lot of minis you're getting. So I
And
mean,
everything else too.
even though it is only
because it
one
comes with the
fat.
dice and tokens and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I guess it would have to, because I mean
So
that's the same price as the old core sets where you got stuff for 2 factions.
mhm.
But I mean, like here, so in those we you got what 12 like in the you got 12 B1s, 2 droidicas.
Oh, in
In
the old
in
one.
the Clone Wars one you got
Right.
12 B1s, 2 droidicas, the and
A
the
hero each.
yeah,
And
and then
speeders.
Grievous.
What
So I
in
mean, but whereas this you're getting now you're getting 30 B1s and 9 B2s also. So I mean, I guess you're kind of. I mean, I think there's a bit of inflation in the price there, but you're getting close to about the same amount of stuff as you got in the old core kits for, and it is for about the same price. So
And
And
it's just better because you're not going to have, even if you want to play more than one faction, you're going to get more of what you want.
yeah, it's a
And
better way to start.
he said that all of these you can build 600 point lists, which is the new. I don't remember what he called it. It's not skirmish anymore, but 600 points is the new. There's a new name for it,
Yeah.
but like the small scale mode. So you can play like a legit game mode right out of the box with your faction as you build your collection.
And Kurt, you could buy one of these to get all the new models, and you'd get your new range ruler out of there. There you go.
Yeah.
And 8 million more dice.
Yeah, I mean, no, actually, you're not getting that many more. You're getting 4 red, 4 black, 4 white attack, and 4 red, 4 white. Okay, sure. I mean, it's about the
So
same.
at the end of the trailer, the camera slowly pans over, and my initial thought was, because it's doing a very like slow pan, like
Oh,
surprise
yes, we got to talk about this.
post credits reveal here. I was like, oh, is like Kylo Ren going to be
I
standing
was like,
there or something?
sequel.
But then we see out of focus in the background a bunch of Weequay pirates with their huge, cool hover tank, and in the foreground we've got Hondo Onaka for Legion, and that was the big reveal, which is still cool.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
still cool.
so, next slide, we've got the unit card pack. So much like they had the upgrade card pack, there are going to be just boxes that just have the unit cards for each faction. I think he said that they were like $10 or something. 15.
15 to
12
25
to
is what.
15. There you go. 15-25. Yeah.
Yeah, because some have more than others. For Rebel, Empire, Separatist, Republic, and the Mercenaries. And so this would just be like, well, I don't want to get all the new models, but I want all the new cards. So it's a way to get those new cards. And they come, I forget, there was like 2 of each per. So like someone like
That
me,
sounds
that's
right.
probably really good because most of these I don't have a million copies of, and it'd be better to, if I had to buy like when the X-Wing second edition came out, and you'd get a thing and you're like, well, now I have like 5 K-Wing cards I don't need because I only had 1 K-Wing. But so there's those. Then there's the same thing with command cards of each faction. The art choices on the command cards are interesting because the Empire's got Veers, Republic has Anakin, but the Separatist just has a generic super tactical, and the Rebel have this generic like eye patch Twi'lek.
A very energetic eye patch to Twi'lek.
Yeah, it's really cool art, but it's like, okay, so 2 of them get like named characters, and then 2 of them don't.
Yeah.
It looks
Like,
like he's
what?
at like a rave or he's in a mosh pit or something.
The cantina.
Yeah, so then
Damn.
just a new look at I think we've seen most of these, but
I mean,
the
we've seen them before, but it bears worth saying damn again, because between the models themselves, the value of the kit, and then the art that goes along with it,
all
it's
of
I don't go. You talk. The
all of these
words
new
are
models,
escaping
like
me.
I'm looking at Chewie and Han, they look so good. I really like the new Leia. The new younger version of Luke is so cool with the yellow jacket,
Oh yeah, I
pistol
love
in one
that.
hand, sword in the other. The Jedi Luke is the only one that I'm kind of meh on. He's got
Yeah.
his foot on a rock, holding his lightsaber like a baseball bat. Whatever. But
I, if they were going to give him that outfit, I wish if they were going to put him standing up on something, I wish it would have been something that
His
looked more
dad's
like
body.
a Death Star that would have been in like the Emperor's throne room. You know,
Yes. I
Yeah,
agree.
but they look really cool. And these, yeah, that's just a one box will have those 5 guys in it. So
So
again, if you, that's a way to get the new Luke if you don't want to buy the new starter,
there you go.
but you
You got
want
it.
new Luke.
So
Um,
across the board, you're gonna be able to get these heroes that are in the starters outside of the starters, which
right,
Yeah,
like
is also very good.
yeah, because like
yeah, back in the
especially
day,
the
if you wanted Luke, you couldn't get him unless you bought a starter.
yeah same thing. Like there's the Obi-Wan in this starter is different. He's just in his Jedi robes instead of like his Clone Wars armor.
Hmm.
So it's nice that we can get that different sculpt for him um, without having to pick up the whole box if we want.
So this next one is a new unit announced, Clone Trooper Marksman. So with the new rules, Phase 1 and Phase 2 went away, the distinction, and just became Clone Troopers. And now there's a new unit that is called Clone Trooper Marksman. I don't play Republic enough to like. These guys all have like the big long DC
20.
17s.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
whatever it is.
I don't know. Do the other clones not have those guns? Do they have the smaller guns?
That's
Because
just a heavy weapon normally,
okay,
right?
because otherwise, like, it's going to be very hard to tell the sculpts apart because they're still just Phase 2 clones. There's a couple guys that have
Right.
different
Yeah.
weapons, but
Well, I think I'm assuming they're going to come with well, maybe they won't, but I think most of the other new core units have phase 1 and phase 2 helmets with them, right? So
Well,
you
there's
can
phase
Yes.
one on the box art too, so
Oh yeah.
isn't that
no,
Is
No,
crazy?
it?
nope.
I
no,
don't.
it's phase
Okay,
2.
they're weird looking, but all right.
Then we've got the ARC Trooper re-release box, and they made a point of saying Fives and Echo are not in
Yeah.
this box
Those
like they were
marksmen look like
previously,
they come with a mortar. Is that supposed to be a mortar heavy upgrade
or
on
like
the
a
one?
grenade
Something
launcher
like
or
that.
something.
Well, no,
No,
like the
it's the mortar. I would say
Yeah.
it's got the
One's a
base plate,
bazooka, one's a
and
yeah,
then
mortar.
the RPS 6.
yeah,
And
So
I think you already mentioned it is a core unit.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Just
so
in
we
case anyone's wondering.
got new ARC Trooper sculpts. None of these are on flight stands. I think previous ARC Troopers were doing little jetpack stuff. Um, but Fives and Echo not in here. They get to be in their own box like all the other named characters. And then besides the customizable characters, probably the coolest other announcement is General Grievous on wheel bike.
Well,
Um,
heroes on mounts.
right.
Well, we knew about Luke and Han already because those were announced at Mini Stravaganza. But
The the Grievous on wheel bike, that art is so good. I love that. Like that my problem is like, oh, these are really cool, but like the art that accompanies them is just like I don't know what to stare at, the art or the photo of the mini. Just that clone on his ATRT, like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, he's
I
coming.
mean, I think they honestly could have taken maybe a slightly better angle on the miniature itself, but who cares because the art piece is so good.
The
It kind of looks though like Grievous is just kind of like waving, like, "Hey, bro!" Like he's rolling up, like, "Come on, get
He's like,
in. We're
"I'ma
going
get you.
shopping."
I'ma get
Uh,
you."
the sculpt has much more of an angled, more dynamic look, and maybe it's just because maybe the art's angled on the thing or something. But
yeah,
also the sculpt he has two lightsabers out, which does look
Yes, he
cool.
does.
yeah,
it's so cool. We got some looks at them in the display cases too, because after the show they had put them in the display case, and it's not just Grievous on a wheel bike, but there are like generic wheel bikes. Um,
Oh, I hadn't even noticed before. They've
with
got
with
different
yeah with
pilots.
yeah, one's got a Magna Guard and one's got a BX
Commando.
Commando.
droid.
The BX one is
Yeah.
so I love that pose because he's just like hunched forward, like like he's on a
Crotch
pocket
rocket.
rocket,
And the other one's
and
a
then
Harley.
Yeah.
yeah,
So in the artwork, they show you can see the BX is sort of like in the like running with legs mode.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you'll be able to model them with the legs out. also,
That's a
or
good
if you
question.
can only have them in wheel mode.
Yeah, I would. My guess is only wheel mode, but
I would think so.
also I don't know if I would choose to have the legs out. I think it's sort of like a hey, remember this is actually also part of the lore here, but
Yeah.
um,
But in
and then
between those two, between the two wheel bikes, we had.
we've got some about time Imperial probe droids.
Yeah.
There's just a picture of two little probe droids
Yep.
on flight stands. Sorry, AMG, you can't get around flight stands this time.
I'll take it over an explosion, but that's just me.
um, just being an Imperial Assault player, I was always like, where are the probe droids? Because they were such
Yeah.
a staple of
Mhm.
the Imperial
Yeah. Oh,
faction
I
and
mean, yeah,
Imperial
and we've
Assault.
been like sort of like theory crafting probe droids. I think since the game launched, like I think you can go back and find at least 2 or 3 episodes where we've theory crafted how probe droids would work.
Well, we've
Yeah.
already had like how many buddy probe droids between Iden and Maul and who knows how many others.
Yeah, and so there's two different sculpts. One just kind of floating, and the other one has got kind of the legs out in the like "I'm coming for
I'm gonna
you"
get
kind
you.
of. Yeah,
It's
so
fun
cool.
dancing.
Nice to finally see them.
Do we know anything at all about the stats? Is it like even the unit type? Is it support? Is it a squad
They
attachment?
explode. I don't
No
know.
idea.
Sorry, I got
I'm
a
curious
screaming
to
cat
see.
over here.
So then another like so-called hero box. There's a
Hero.
pack
Heroes
Imperial High
on both
Command.
sides.
This pack comes with Tarkin, uh, Krennic, Thrawn, and Taj, aka
Taggy.
Taggy or
Taggy.
Tajay, Tag.
Target.
Um, yeah, so that's another pack that comes with like 4 characters. Uh, did we know Thrawn was coming to Legion? Did they announce that at Mini Stravaganza, or is
Yeah,
this
I
new?
thought they. I thought it was extravaganza. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I mean they did show off this high command pack. I can't remember what all leaders they showed, but I think this was all of them were
I
shown.
think so.
Then we get a look at Han and Luke on Tauntauns.
Those look great. I
Yep.
love Hans. Parka. Want to see the stats for doing drive-by lightsaber slashes off the tauntaun? Really
Oh
great.
Yeah,
yeah.
and these are brand new sculpts for Tauntauns, obviously with the new characters, but I think they said this also will herald in like just the generic like new Tauntauns will have new sculpts.
You're correct. They
Um,
did say that.
I really want to take the lightsaber out of Luke's hand and put it in the Tauntaun's hand.
What? You
'Cause
don't
I
want to
think
put
that
it in
would be
Han's hand so he can slice up
no.
his
I want
tauntaun
Luke.
and put Luke inside
Luke
of
is
it?
running. Luke's riding it, and the Tauntaun is the one holding the lightsaber,
Oh,
chopping
I
people
see.
up.
Gotcha.
Just kind of an interesting choice here on the painted ones. They modeled them with desert bases with like tufts of grass.
That's ice.
I mean, I guess there's like tundras that are, have a little
Probably
bit
not
of
on
And
Hoth.
tundras are
foliage.
deserts too.
This is the alternate timeline where they got out on Hoth just fine with their Tauntauns, never ran into the one. Luke never checked out that meteorite because he was not a dork who goes, I want to look at a meteorite. He goes back home with Han. They take off. They take the Tauntauns because they're best buds, and now they're on every battlefield with them.
I think this is the little scene equatorial region of Hoth that's actually
Yeah.
not
It's
frozen
like
over.
3 miles wide.
Yeah.
Actually, a little known fact about Hoth is it's tidally locked.
Oh.
The
So if you
backside.
go to the backside of the planet, that's always facing the sun. There's no.
Well, now see, that's the kind of information that will come in useful when we go to Star Wars trivia next year.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh,
If
we're
anybody
gonna
has heard
talk
of
about
our
it.
prior issues with this Adepticon Star Wars trivia,
It
just
just
know
gets
that this
worse.
year apparently it was super easy and chill. and we would have mopped up if we had
We
actually
told you.
attended.
So many people were telling you to go.
Anyway, moving on. After this, we see another character pack, Heroes of the 501st. This
Woo!
is where we get Fives and Echo,
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Rex. The Rex pose is really cool. I
That
don't like the
Anakin,
Anakin
the
pose.
Anakin model is just like,
Oh, I was gonna say
hell
I like
yes.
it.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I like it's a little too.
I'm never a fan of these like leapy poses myself.
I'm
I
not
like the
don't know.
Obi-Wan.
I'm not usually, but for
The
Anakin, I think
the
it works.
the jumping off a tactical rock thing is
What else
like,
is he gonna leap off of?
I don't know.
The dirt?
I like Obi-Wan is leaping. I like that one. I don't know what it is about Anakin that seems a bit too, because like
I think
Obi-Wan
it's the angle.
looks like he could be like running too. Anakin is
Yeah.
always, I don't know.
I mean,
What's,
I
Rex-
I do like the pose. Like I think the Anakin is of the three personally. I think the Anakin's the most well done one. I don't know. I just don't like the whole rock leaping thing for some reason. I don't. There we go.
Do we know
Okay,
what?
that's fine.
Do we
You know what you
Rex
can
is-
do? You can clip the rock off of his foot and just have him be on the dirt
He's
like a commoner.
Pirouetting.
I'll just have
I
him doing
literally
like
have done that.
tippy
with
toes,
some-
standing on his tippy toe.
There, exactly.
I had to do that to some Geonosians, honestly, where it's too
Oh.
much. Rex is like tripping over tank treads, or what do we think those are?
It looks like he's some
Those
kind of
are,
ration pack.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are MREs. I can tell you, those are spent MREs.
And then Fives and Echo look very reminiscent of the old sculpts. I think to me, they read as like new sculpts done in the same pose. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just the paint job, but they're
I'm
they're
no,
very
I'm with
similar to the
you.
old
I'm with you on
poses.
that. Their poses, their modeling looks pretty much like what we currently have.
but not identical in my mind. Could be wrong.
then-
Then we got some 3D objective tokens. So
That's
it's
rad.
just, if you don't want the, cardboard tokens or your print and play tokens, and you don't want to repurpose your old, now defunct Legion objective tokens into new ones like they showed in their like hobby blogs,
Mhm.
you'll have these as options, which is just a bunch of random interesting stuff. I see a Rhydonium canister, a Camtono. It's like a box of grenades, maybe even like a coax. That looks like the coaxium case that Han had in Solo at the end.
Could be
Yeah.
The
some kind
floating-
of shield generator.
That floating shield generator looks like
That's
that
pretty
was
cool.
the ones they give to Lando in Rebels.
Can we just get a whole pack of ice cream makers? That's all we need.
The interesting thing to me about these packs is they don't have a standard base like
Mm,
the like
mhm.
they have a rounded curved base so that they're more like a terrain piece rather than
Yeah.
a mini.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the old FFG ones they just use the same bases, but
Hmm.
Mhm.
that's a good point. So then we
I do
get
find it interesting. I mean, these are things you're going to be measuring too. So, I mean, you still can, but yeah, I don't know.
so then we get into the Hondo stuff. We get some cool art of Hondo showing off to his pirates on a bar or something.
Yeah.
So we see the Weekway pirates. So they said that these had been like these sculpts were like made and done for years. Like they've like done this years and years ago, but because the unit was so big, it just never really worked with the game. And now that the rules have changed to allow for bigger units and different dice pools and type stuff, that they finally like fit. So those are all pretty cool minis. Some of them remind me of the Shatterpoint Weekways.
I think it's the posing. We're seeing a lot of that AMG posing in here. So
You can see that there are like the duplicate poses, because there's two with peg legs,
Mhm.
but like they all
Yeah.
have different hands. Like the one has
Yeah.
an electro staff, the other's holding a box. The two that are in the bottom middle are like, okay,
Mhm.
down on one knee holding a gun up, but now they've got different guns and their other hands are doing different things. So
Yeah. That's
Yeah, and they've
great.
got like
That's phenomenal.
three different minis all doing the running and shooting behind me pose.
yeah, I do like that they seem to like there's like three poses, but they all have different like hand options to make
Mhm.
them
Yeah.
it really doesn't look like there's only three poses.
Yeah,
There's
that's
there's
great.
4. Yeah, at least in the picture, there's 9 minis and 4 poses across them, and then Hondo also.
Yeah. And Hondo will have different builds for his model where he can. I don't know if they necessarily said that Hondo's head would have multiple versions, but they did say you could build him as a generic pirate leader as well.
Um, so Hondo himself fits into the Shadow Collective. All these people can play in Shadow Collective, so Shadow Collective has more options for the first time since it
Woo!
came out.
It's nice.
Not going to dig into all the details of Hondo's cards, but what they called out was he has a keyword that's Hondo specific called "My mood is based on profit," and all of his other keywords are Uncanny Luck X, Reliable X, Arsenal X, Independent Dodge X. And so what my mood is based on profit does is X is equal to the number of pips on his command card.
That's
Interesting.
fantastic. I love
That's
that.
actually really interesting. Yeah, so you play you know, like a lower, or I guess a bigger number pip card. You don't get priority necessarily, but it gives Hondo a boost there.
Yep.
That's a pretty cool mechanic.
His courage is X too.
Oh wow,
Yes.
yeah, it is.
It is. I
The
That's
mean,
two
that makes
great.
command
sense.
cards,
That makes
the two that
sense.
we see are a 2 pip and a 3 pip. So I wonder if he even has a 1 pip. Maybe does.
Yeah, I mean
I
it's entirely possible he's got 2 2s or 2 3s, but
yeah.
I feel like it would be
Like a
make more sense to
Trinidad.
give him a 1 because you want to force the players to like have that kind of risk. So then we
You can see
see
he's
the
mercenary across all 4 factions too,
Mhm.
which that's on the card in a different way that used to be. I think that's nice.
we got the WLO5 speeder tank. This is the weak way tank. I think we see it in the Clone Wars. This one, I love the weak way option. We've got because this fits into Shadow Collective. You can have a pike in it. You can have a Black Sun guy sticking out a little turret. You can have a weak way sticking out a little turret, and then there's the bandage head guy from the
the
swoop
swoop pirate
bikes,
guy.
and
Yeah.
they said that they don't know what species that guy is, and nobody knows, and he's just some random guy that nobody knows who he is.
Dengar
Kiadi Moody
It's
species.
actually no, it is Kiarebundi. He survived Order 66 and he's in
Kiadi
disguise.
Dengar.
That's why he was in the Rogue One pack in Shatterpoint. He was in the back of
There
his whole
you go.
villain.
You got it.
Yeah,
But
I think
I
that
think
we also
I would
yeah,
definitely do
this
mine with the
is
weak ways. I love the little weak way guy just sitting on the side with his sniper rifle.
yeah. I assume, or maybe not. I wonder if they'll have a side rider in all the different species as well.
That's a good question.
It's a pretty
Hopefully.
cool looking model, in my opinion. The promo photo, really good weathering on
Yeah.
the like hull of the tank. Like I'm really
Yeah,
impressed.
I think
Well done.
of all the like the bigger vehicles that we have, like the bigger hover vehicles, this is I think the coolest looking one myself. I really think it looks
Yeah,
awesome.
there's also going to be a lot of opportunity to just do cool custom stuff with it, with either just like decals or graffiti, or you
Yeah,
know,
that'll
if you
be
have
good.
extra guys, there's a lot of room for other guys to just be standing on top shooting or something.
Now, I had meant to ask you this at the time, Joe, because I was excited that, Hondo's team was getting a tank. But in the Seven Samurai episode of Clone Wars, wasn't a
Which one?
Hondo, which that's a good point. Bounty Hunters. Bounty
Yeah, on
Hunters episode.
Felucia.
Yeah, where Hondo's gang is attacking the village. Which episode? Um, but the tank that he has in that, isn't it a separatist tank? Or am I mistaken?
I feel like it's this one, but let me check.
I would have thought it was this one
Hondo
too, so I was really
tank.
excited
Yeah. See,
for.
you guys went to one Star Wars trivia. Joe can't even remember this.
Yeah, this was one of the questions. Come on.
What kind of
Uh,
tank did Hondo have in the Seven Samurai episode? And then Joe says, "Which Seven Samurai episode?"
I think you
no,
get
I'm pretty sure it
disqualified.
was that one.
Was it that one? Okay,
I think it was
well,
probably this one.
Yeah.
This
then
is the
I'm
same
then I'm
tank
more
from the.
disappointed that we can't have yet because now mounted heroes are a thing, but have Hondo on his tank because
Yeah, his
that's what I want
quote
to see.
about
Hondo,
it
like,
is,
suppose would fit.
"You know what I always say: speak softly and drive a big tank."
There you go. See, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
think they said that in the presentation as well.
I think that would be a good mod. Buy a second Hondo Mini, stick him on top of in his like, kind of
Yeah.
Captain Morgan pose.
See,
Yeah,
he
be
gets
cool.
it.
Yeah, so that was basically everything for Shatterpoint. They have the roadmap, which I'm not going to
Everything
just
for Legion.
read
And I,
off.
I will say,
Yeah, Legion.
I'm excited to see what the stats for this tank end up being, like what type of upgrades and stuff it has.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
It's crazy though how big this release schedule is for Legion. You know, like after
release,
X-Wing and
the re-release.
Armada. Yeah, after X-Wing and Armada, I know there was a lot of people who were like, "Oh, well, that's it was Legion's next. Legion's next." There is so much shit coming out.
yeah,
I
guess
mean,
what? There was 2 announcements for Shatterpoint and 1,000,000 for Legion.
yeah,
it's kind of a complete 180.
yeah,
And it's probably because a lot of this stuff was in the pipeline. They're working on like the new version and stuff, right? But there's like so much coming out to support that
Well, right. A
brand.
yeah,
big part of the sentiment that Legion was going away is, I think, a side effect of the strategy they had to employ to do all these new products. Because, again, go watch the interview that I did with them.
Mhm.
But they said that it's basically by design that there's a bit of a scarcity right now because they don't want to be remanufacturing and restocking that old stuff because they're trying to replace it all with the new stuff. And so in
Yeah.
order to make that transition happen, you kind of have to let it disappear from shelves because retailers aren't going to want to have the old stuff sitting on the shelf next to the new stuff,
Mhm.
and players aren't going to want that. And so they explained it pretty well, and that's basically why there's been that sort of drought. And to address that drought, so we have the roadmap here. Looks like Vader and Veers come in a pack together based on this roadmap.
You're looking
Yeah, I
at
will
Oh,
say.
there's a. Oh, wait, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a bunch of the like reprint type stuff is mostly in Q2, which is right now. So like the next 3 months. So like that's gonna be coming out soon. Uh, some good stuff for Q3. What's Outer Rim
Oh,
Outlaws?
I see what you're
That's
talking about.
Boba and Din.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay.
So
So
most of the sorry, I'm going to jump in really quick. For the new releases over the course of the next fiscal year, most of the new brand like new releases, new products are going to be within 2025 with some in Q1 of 2026, but then the reissues are going to be predominantly in 2026.
yeah, that was the big thing they really wanted to like show everybody because people are like, well, I where are all these characters? Where is this? I can't get this. They've got the full list of all of the characters that are getting the repackaged treatment and or like the re-sculpt treatment if they're old enough. Like
yeah.
Q1, you're gonna get a T-47
Oh,
airspeeder
gotcha.
pack.
Yeah.
Having to wait until Q2 of 2026 to get um, more snowtroopers that I don't actually need is bullshit. I don't want
I
to wait
think it's
that long.
interesting that it looks like Rook cast and is going to be perhaps her own release. Um,
Oh.
But
Oh yeah, the Lord Maul,
but
Gar Sax, and Rook Cast.
yeah, because
You're right.
But
I'm
I
sure
don't
they're
know
not
if those
gonna.
are,
Those were the
they
shadow.
might be grouped into actual like
Yeah.
multi-character packs
That would make
by
sense.
then.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
because
yeah,
you
I think
see, none of
it's
these have these have like SKU numbers the
oh
way
right. It's just
all the
okay.
other
This
stuff
is the
It's
does.
just a
unit.
list.
Hey, there's if like most people probably there's a specific unit you've been waiting for and wondering when it's going to hit shelves again. This is when.
Yeah, so
So
this is
that's
just
good
like
to know.
all the other units in the game
Mhm.
that weren't covered in the presentations, like
Right.
every other character.
'Cause,
So
yeah, every
yeah.
unit is whether it was previously in soft plastic or not is getting redone with the new graphic design and the new cards and all that stuff. Um,
The only other thing I wanted to mention from the release schedule, just to like point out, the customizable commanders are Q3 of this year. So, that's
Yeah, they
July
are.
to September. So, like, not that far away, honestly. And then wheel bikes Q4.
Yeah, they mentioned and they had up on screen that the um core accessories and then the Rebels and Empire with just a couple of exceptions was going to be Q3, and then Q4 of this year was going to be Clone Wars stuff. Again, with a couple of exceptions maybe.
yeah, and then the last thing they showed was basically they're going to have a developer update on April 15th. So April 15th is when the rest of the print and play cards and stats are going to become available. Um, for
Oh,
all of
nice.
the existing. So on April 15th, 100% of like Legion will be like ready and playable. I think
That'll
there
be
might have
nice.
been.
So then April 16th is when I'm going to go to Etsy, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Did you just notice in this slide they show for that Agent Callus has bounty keyword? I don't believe he had that before, right?
No,
No,
Oh,
he
I
did
don't think
not.
so.
yeah.
Which is
And
cool.
Jin has become an operative.
Oh,
She
yeah.
used to be
She used to
commander.
be a commander. Interesting
Independent
stuff
move,
here.
also.
Hmm.
To be honest, that does kind of make, I don't know, make sense to me that she
It
feels
does.
more that operative than commander role,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
lore
Um,
wise, anyways. Yeah.
yeah. So that's everything from the Atomic Mass Games Studio update for Shatterpoint and Legion. If
That's
you
all.
uh I highly recommend you go check out my interviews I did with Will Schick about. I have one about Shatterpoint and one about Legion. So whichever one of those interests you most, go check it out. The Legion one was recorded after all of these reveals, so we have some questions pertaining to these. The Shatterpoint one was before, but there's still really good stuff in there, like talking about if a Rancor could ever be in Shatterpoint, for example. So
Mounted
yeah,
heroes are a
go check
thing.
those out. It's good stuff. It's always fun talking to those guys. And anybody else have any closing thoughts?
Yes.
This was a long one.
Yeah, it was a long one. But for anyone that is coming to this channel to listen to us and watch us post Adepticon to get all this juicy insight, join our Discord. You do not have to be a patron to join the Discord. You can be a patron. You don't have to be a patron, but come in and hang out with us, talk with us, and just have a lot
And
of fun.
join our Star Wars Unlimited webcam league we are running on the Discord right now.
Yes.
Yes, that as well. You can do that in between going to your Legion nights. And we've got tons of photos up from the show, from the case. You can see the miniatures in all their real life glory. I mean, we even was Legion Sabine remake even mentioned? in the course of the update, Joe?
There weren't any pictures of it.
Because she was in the display case. We can see
Yeah,
her
there's
clear
a
as
really
day.
nice new sculpt of Sabine.
Yeah, looks great.
So that's just one tiny example of come see everything that we took pictures of. Get more of a deep dive into everything on the Discord. I think that's probably our best community, our best social is our Discord, and it's free.
Yeah, it's a great place to be. All right, I got a lot of Adepticon videos to put together, a lot of minis to paint, so I'm
And we will still plan to talk about our experience, though, in a future episode.
Yes.
I have
probably.
thoughts, lots of thoughts for later.
Good night, everybody.
And bye-bye.